ICE is still on it. San Bernardino parking lot of Home Depot. Here's the Fox 11 report.
Yesterday at Home Depot in West.
Still on it. San Bernardino parking lot of Home Depot. Here's the Fox 11 report.
Yesterday at Home Depot in Westlake.
Fox 11's Laura Diaz live in San Bernardino with the video. Laura.
Yes, Alex and Christine, there seems to be some dispute as to how many people suspected of being in this country illegally were taken into custody. But one activist told me he believed just one person was taken into custody. But either way, people who were here expressed fear.
Yeah, they coming in and taking some guys and they leaving.
Videos from the scene show the operation at the Home Depot on 21st Street in San Bernardino just after 9 Thursday morning. According to witnesses, more than a dozen day laborers who were gathered looking for work ran with 6 SUVs with...
Most of these and most of the dozen that were scattering or whatever are not just day laborers looking for work. They're working for the frickin' Mexican and Chinese cartels. Let's start telling the frickin' truth about this stuff. If we don't, we're never going to get anywhere on any of this stuff. It's getting frustrating to hear these reports with the crocodile tears and this. The big murder suspect that came in from Washington was, after a manhunt, was arrested in Woodland Hills. They thought he was in SoCal, and they were right. So that suspect is now in the Gray Bar motel. So you don't have to worry about that. 0 illegal border crossings for the 3rd straight month. Remember when they said, all the ding-dong Democrats and left-wing loons, oh, we can't stop what's coming over the border. We can't stop illegals without comprehensive immigration reform. You are lying sacks of ish. You have 0 credibility until you apologize and admit you were lying. 3 months in a row. Trump has stopped this stuff almost instantly as he came into office. Here's Caroline Leavitt with the briefing at the White House. Maybe. If it will start rolling. Set that
For the 3rd
up.
straight month, there were 0 illegal aliens released into the country. Let me repeat that remarkable statistic. For the 3rd month in a row, not a single illegal alien was released by the Trump administration into the United States of America. This is historic. Under President Trump, this border is the most secure it has ever been.
That's all we need to know. This border has been the most secure it's ever been. No changes in existing law. You got everyone that was producing the big fat law. Oh, we can't stop this. Oh, we need comprehensive immigration reform. You just wanted to make legal the Mexican and Chinese drug cartels to completely take over the United States of America. Thank goodness that's coming to an end. We did know. All the fake news artists that tried to tell us, oh, Joe was this, Joe was running marathons, Joe had an IQ of 187. Biden White House scrap planned visit because then President Biden would have to take too many steps. Emails show. There it is. There was a complete cover-up of a man who was not competent to serve as president. Everybody knew it. And again, the liars in chief who defended this, no justice, no peace until you apologize for what you did, that you perpetuated a lie. Then we may start to talk about, oh, we can heal and all this other emotional garbage. Big bust. of Lebedew recovered 30,000 worth. In Chino, here's the KABC7 report coming up soon.
Boo Boo Bust. Chino police say that they recovered $30,000 worth of the highly sought after figurines that were stolen from a warehouse. So take a look. Police say they served a search warrant at a home in Upland. Detectives recovered 14 boxes of stolen merchandise along with evidence indicating the items were about to be resold across the country. The items have since been returned.
That's what we got to eliminate. In this stuff. Yeah, this was all part of the illegal crap that was going on. No doubt it was traffic. And this is why Trump had to take over D.C. D.C. police commander accused of altering crime stats. The FOP alleged, Fraternal Order Police alleged, that officers in D.C. Metro Police Department were instructed to downgrade violent crime reports to lesser offenses. This has been known for a long time. All this, crime's going down, the mayor's out there, and you hear it all across, especially bigger cities. No, we're not putting up with this kind of BS anymore. This is another thing that's going wrong with society. And this was at the nasty car Xfinity race on Saturday. Zilich, in my view, took out Shane Van Gisbergen, and here's a little bit of it.
If you watch the 88 behind the nine's going to get a little bit of a run, kind of get to his
when a guy gets on
as
the
they head
outside,
down into turn 6, and then Connor overdrives the corner and is going to run a little bit wide here. I thought the 9 was letting him go, actually, but if you watch how wide the 88 runs, he goes to come back on the racetrack, and they just, the 9's going to have to give him a little bit of room there. You know that.
No, he doesn't. Jamie, McMurray, if he would have been in the 9 car and Van Gisbergen's car, and Zilich would have clipped him right in the quarter panel and spun him, when you're off the track and the guy's clear ahead of you, he can't see you do that. And he's supposed to what? Put on the brakes and let you back in? This is what's wrong with society anymore. It's getting completely freaking out of control. There's that funky slide guitar music that comes in every Monday through Friday, live 5 or a little after, almost 5:30. We're a little bit late today. On the Evil FB Network or Rumble X, YouTube, all that good stuff. We will be joining the Mighty Met KMET here in a few seconds. Like that Xfinity race where we get, this is what's wrong with society. Oh, you're clear ahead of the guy, and you're supposed to put on the brakes and let him in. When the guy can drive clear off the track, even I don't care what the surface is, and come back on an angle and hit you and clip you in the rear quarter panel, and it's okay. Austin Hill did it to Michael McDowell, too. Ran clear in the back of him. And McMurray in that, like I said, when he was driving, if that would have happened to him, he'd have been screaming bloody murder. But our society is getting totally jacked up. We got to eliminate this. This is, if I was Shane, I'd have grabbed that little Zilich, although he fell out of the car, maybe apropos after winning. I'd have grabbed that little SOB and beat the living crap out of him. Come clear off the freaking racetrack or wherever on an angle and doing it. That's totally unacceptable.
Was letting him go.
Wasn't letting him go. He's clear off the racetrack. He hooks him behind the right rear tire. Came off at an angle like this, clear in, and hit Van Gisbergen and spin him. And it's Van Gisbergen's fault? The guy that was ahead? Absolutely not. I mean, if NASCAR's going to let him race that way, then don't penalize anybody. You can put him in the wall, like Bubba Wallace hooked Kyle Larson, a few years ago. And I mean, time, and we can go back in eons of history. Dale Earnhardt with Rusty Wallace. There's all kinds of that. That was a Bush League move. But if they're going to let him run Paris Auto Speedway Night of Destruction rules, anything goes, then no black flags, no disqualifications. You can knock them out of the way or whatever. And as catch can. That's where society is. We're looking at everything backwards. Maybe we'll get things back under control. We shall see. We should be joining the Mighty Met KMET here in a few seconds. We'll pick up on this and a little bit more stuff going on that's been happening today of that. If you're on, who's ever there, Jesse or Sean, I'm not hearing you back.
Can you hear me now, Roy?
Oh, I can hear you.
All right, you got less than 30 seconds.
Okay. So, no, we're going to get into more of why society has been lying to you like we
There
did.
we go, 10 seconds.
And how we're going to roll with the best hillbilly hoedown around.
IE Newswire Daily is on the air.
The following is a paid program. Views and claims expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station. Claims expressed are not necessarily those of organizations and its management.
There's that funky slide guitar music that comes on every Monday through Friday live at 5:30 on the Mighty Met 1490 AM, broadcasting all over the Inland Empire and the aforementioned AM band, showing your vast video audience and Evil B Network, Rumble X, YouTube, and the Roy Blackert channel. Lots of stuff going on. But one thing is just society's got everything backwards. And it was a lot, and like anything else, racing or anything else, it's a reflection of society. You see it in the short tracks, you see it the way some of these guys in the sprint cars and midgets that just run into guys, tear up equipment for no reason. There's hardly any, I'm not going to say no, hardly any lack of respect for anybody anymore. I think a lot of it is because, like I said, we become this wussified world run on 111% emotion. If it makes me feel good, or you don't tell me anything negative, it's ruining everything. We had the whole rhetoric. Joe, now it's come out. They were canceling trips because Joe would have to walk too many steps. Not that he couldn't meet with Putin. Well, it was too many steps for Joe, and it doesn't look good on camera because people seeing what an invalid he is, mentally and physically. The whole Adam Schiff. And we, the doofuses in California, elect him as senator. Now the evidence is showing he was the one that was leaking the classified information while accusing, back in 2017, while accusing Trump of canoodling with Putin and just on and on and on. The next thing that really, well, the whole vax thing. We're finding out everything. 98.7% of everything the government and the officials and that were telling us was just a blatant lie. From social distancing to if you get the vax, you can't not only get it yourself, you can't spread it. Lie after lie after lie. Social distancing, gotta wear a mask. Oh, if you don't do this and you don't get the vax, you're going to kill everybody. There are guys and gals in the media that were running this stupid rhetoric and everything else. Today, we ran the clip earlier, like the comprehensive, remember, during the 2024 campaign, there's cackling. Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck E. Schumer, Gavin Newsom, Fat Boy Pritzker, Yokel Hokel, Stretch and Gretchen. Oh, the reason they're all coming across the border is because we don't have comprehensive immigration reform. Shut up. That's a humongous lie. Almost immediately, as Trump got back in there, to when Trump ended, it got shut off. Not 10, 20, 30 million, and then blame it on that. The real stupid Biden and all you Stretch and Gretchen and local Hochul, 1 million people per year, not 3, not 4, not 10, or whatever number we were letting in under the Biden administration. 1. And with every existing law, as soon as Trump was sworn in on January 20th, 12 noon Eastern Time, 2025, it got shut off again. And Caroline Levitt, just at the White House press secretary today, just said 3 months in a row, no illegals were set loose. Because there's only like 6 that they're finding coming across the border, and that's easy to do. Border Patrol morale is up because they're doing their job. They're defending the borders of the United States. They're keeping illegals out of the country along with ICE. You did not sign up to do paperwork to log and give quasi-cartel controlled criminals the right to come in this country and strengthen their criminal enterprise. Like the Home Depot is. Well, these guys are scattering. You know, one in Purdue at the Home Depot. Well, a dozen of them scattered. They only got one arrested, one and this and that. Oh, they're just here hardworking. No. Well, I mean, I ain't going to dispute the hardworking. I'm not out there looking. But most of them are under the controls of the Mexican and Chinese cartels. You think those guys could afford a nice $30,000 dump truck or whatever to be parked out the Home Depot saying, we will haul your stuff or do this here? We got to stop the whole phony, emotionally run, tug at your heartstrings. Because if they can get you off of reality, they can convince you of anything. Emotion knows no right or wrong. In fact, emotion will validate anything. If I like it or it makes me feel good, it's how you get Jeffrey Dahmer, guys that chop people up and stick them in the refrigerator. Well, you know, it makes me feel good, so hey, I'm going to chop up Charlie and stick him in the fridge. And like I said, this touched me off on Saturday when I saw the highlights of the Xfinity race. Now you got former driver Jamie McMurray. Oh, the Connor Zillage, Schengen Van Ginsbergen should have stopped on the racetrack and let him back in. Like I said, if Zillage or anybody would have done that to McMurray, he'd have been screaming to the top of his lungs. But he said, "No, you should stop." This whole idiocracy we're going on, it's got to stop. I'm going to replay the clip again. This is a microcosm of what we got to fit, what we got to straighten out in the United States of America.
I thought the 9 was letting him go, actually, but if you watch how wide the 88 runs, he goes.
Okay, the 88 is clear. Now they are side by side. Like McMurray said, he overdrove the corners, the only reason he was in front of him going in. So now he's paying the price, sliding up the racetrack, out of the groove, coming up, so Van Ginsbergen, in the groove, in the racing line, is pulling back in his rightful place ahead of Zillage.
To come back on the racetrack.
Now you see the contact point. Right at the right rear tire of Shane Van Ginsbergen. He's coming off, angling in. He's angling in like this. He's up here. Coming back in, clips Van Ginsbergen, and crashes him wide.
They just, the 9's going to have to give him a little bit of room there. You know?
No! He was clear ahead. What is he going to do? He'd have had to slam on the brakes. And I think that was Sammy Smith behind him. Sammy Smith would have run into him. Because he'd have had to stand on the brakes to let him back in. And that still didn't preclude what may have happened. And the thing of it is, Zillage was way faster than Van Ginsbergen. All he had to do was wait a couple laps or whatever, so it didn't work that time. Okay, just when he was clearly the fastest car of the day, even though without his debacle of falling off the car in Victory Lane. But to say that is ridiculous. Oh, you got to leave him room to come back in and pass you when you're clearly ahead. Hey, that's Zillage's fault to get back on the track when the wall's coming back in. And this is what's the matter with society. By a long shot. Making excuses, or everybody's got to have a safe space. Or, we're playing by Marcus of Queensberry rules out on the racetrack. Oh, with etiquette, like we're going to a ball. Oh, we should, bow down to the king. When you're in the lead, it's your racetrack. It's up to the guy behind you to figure out how to get around you cleanly. If he jumps off the racetrack, overdrives the corner, or whatever, that's his problem. And it goes on in society. It's been going on in racing. And this stuff it's driving everybody nuts. It's just like the political stuff. Now that we're getting some of the documents released, from Russia, 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 and oh, Trump's in bed with Putin, and Putin's trying to put Russia in because Trump is blanking, Putin's blank, and all this other stupidity. When it was Hillary that concocted, and Obama and Biden concocted the whole story because Hillary had her email scandals, and now we got Debbie Blabbermouth Schultz with the document saying, yeah, we come up with this because we were getting beat up over the real thing, which was Hillary's emails and destruction and Benghazi and everything else the Clintons have been involved in and their whole little crew. It's like with the immigration and everything else. The vax, the lies, the COVID con. We got to flush this stupidity out of our society. If we're going to have any sanity left. If we're going to move forward as a society, we have to do it honestly. Because all this lies and crap we got to reject blatant dictatorial rule like Gavin Newsom's trying to pull off with this latest, the gerrymander of all time. And the beat goes on. They're uncovering another one down in LA, $8 million for Just Say Hello campaign. And now they're finding out, they're $8 million they're handing out to all these non-government organizations. Where do you think they're getting the campaign cash? The drug cartels, they are human trafficking the dudes at the Home Depot. The chicks walking up and down Sunnymead, Figueroa Boulevard, or wherever, E Street. The backdoor weed sales, fentanyl sales, and everything else. It's really, by far, 1,000% out of shape. And if we don't get a hold of it now, like that we got Trump in there, and like we got some momentum, we'll never get a hold of this thing, and it'll be at our peril. I wanted to show this one. This is pretty cool. Let's blow her up a little bit if we can. Tanks rolling through Corona. This was the Corona 4th of July parade in 1988. See an M60 tank rolling through your city streets in the IE back in the day. Yeah, it's getting close to 40 years ago. But I thought that was pretty cool. You see the American flag out. We need to have more parades and things with M60 tanks in it like we used to. When we had some respect in society. We need to get back to I believe, open and or concealed carry. That is your right to do. The government's got to have a compelling reason why you shouldn't have it. I.e., you're a criminal, dangerous to yourself with that. You shouldn't have to ask permission from your government to be able to defend yourself. And that's how they break down respect in society. Because if you don't know if the guy or gal standing next to you has a 357 on them, how likely are you going to be Mr. Badass? Or think you're going to rob them? Or whatever, or assault, or however, or you're going to do a street takeover, or you're going to rob the convenience store. And the dude, like the late guy in Norco, has a 12 gauge. It's going to be vastly interesting to see how we pull all this stuff off. But we got to get back to a cleaner society, a more, well, let's say more honest society, a more respectable society where we can believe if somebody tells you something, you don't have to go fact check it. It's another propaganda tool. You know, it's like, who's investigating the investigators? Who's fact checking the fact checkers? Because how many times have the fact checkers been woefully out of shape? So hopefully we'll get our ish better together. I think we got a better than even shot. Here's hoping for that. We're going to keep fighting for it. Win, lose, or draw, more people need to take the tact of, we're just going to do what's right and let the chips fall where they may. And you're probably going to see that, not that we're going to say to do anything illegal or advocating that, but as we said, Royism 101, the most dangerous living creature is one that has nothing to lose. Because once you're at the point of you got nothing to lose, then you're going to say, Katie, bar the door. And we get people down to, they don't have nothing to lose. No telling what might happen. Hopefully we don't get to that point. Hopefully we get our collective heads out of our rear ends and just start doing what's right. Some of the local stuff, Justin Conoco, I guess I should say, 38 of Ontario, was arrested. He's charged with wire fraud. That's in the patch. 56 people were arrested on suspicion of animal cruelty and other offenses after San Bernardino County officials found 3,500 cockfighting birds in Operation Crowing Rooster. The street vendors are suing the city of Fontana, saying it is impossible to keep their businesses open, so they're having a war down there. That's one I'm all for the free market, but if you're going to make people regulate and do into businesses and have a building and do that, then you come in and say, well, you know, a guy can just set up on the street corner and be in competition with you. Again, these street vendors, I'm going to say 98.7% of them are run by the cartels. This was a solid pick. Got rid of that ding dong who was the chief of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Donald J. Trump nominated E.J. Antoni as the next commissioner of labor statistics. This is a stunningly good pick. MAGA guy tells you the truth, been telling us the numbers for decades and been spot on with that. I bet you within 2 or 3 months, we're going to have much more accurate statistics coming out on jobs reports, inflation, and all the things, because a lot of decisions are made on this. And when you got them blowing up and down and you're playing politics with them, it just throws everything into chaos. Of course, this last weekend, this week, kids are returning to school, as hopefully they'll have a better shot as the new Mount Vernon Bridge in San Bernardino will be opening soon. Lake Elsinore and Temecula moms are fighting for vaccination exemptions for their kids. That was what we talked about with Kelly Victory yesterday, of the Pediatric Medical Association doesn't want any exemptions. Rancho Cucamonga cops got in on a burglary call, and on top of that, found a man with, who would have ever thought of this, was arrested for possession of methamphetamine. God, that's a shocker. Would have never guessed that. There's circa banning from the San Gregorio Pass from way back in the day at Ramsey and South 1st Street. Oh, sprint cars, stock cars coming up at Parasauto Speedway next week. Kids night. Kids eat for free at the Moval Golden Corral from 4 to 9 o'clock. So you still got 3 hours to take that in the Moreno Valley location at least. As long as there are 2 adults with the kid. San Bernardino councilwoman claims, or is filing a claim against the city for misuse of Cleats of California law enforcement telecommunications system. So that's been an interesting case to follow. We'll have to dig deeper into that one. 91 shooting death of a man has been reopened as a cold murder homicide case coming in. Go ahead, but cops say, hey, kids are back in school. Be careful out there. We don't want to. School districts need to deal with the cluster foxtrot, getting kids in and out. That'll do it for today. As we usually say at this time, mandatory, you're back here in 23 hours. Why? You're the best darn show in the whole wide world. Until then, see ya.
The proceeding was a paid
All right, Roy, I'll talk to you in a couple days.
You got it.
Bye now.
Shut off the heat generator.